everyone, I'm Megan with the I Believe podcast. Welcome to another episode. We have the wonderful Aimee Kendrick of What Friends Do with us, and I'm really excited to tell you all about what she does. But first, I want to thank you for tuning in. We can't do any of this without you, so whether you're listening or watching, please keep tuning in because that helps us continue to do what we do. So without further ado, let me introduce Aimee.
Hi, Megan. Thanks so much. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Welcome, Aimee. I'm so excited to have you. I love What Friends Do. I'm really excited to tell everybody about it because I think that our community is going to really benefit from this. So first, tell us, what is What Friends Do?
So What Friends Do is an online tool to allow friends and loved ones and family members to organize communication and support for someone going through any major life event. And we really tend to specialize in people who are diagnosed with cancer, going through cancer treatments and that journey. So we've helped hundreds of thousands of people through events in life that they weren't necessarily expecting to have to go through, but really looking at ways to provide communication and provide actionable support. I can't wait to get into all those details with you.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so excited. So is it just a website or an app, or what's the platform?
So the platform for the general public is called whatfriendsdo.com, and it is software that you can access from your tablet, your computer, or your mobile device from any browser that you have, and it will interact seamlessly without any problems. Now, if you are a lucky person and you happen to be at a facility that has one of our private branded software applications, then you might also have the opportunity to use a mobile app. But you might not even know it's powered by What Friends Do.
That's awesome. That's a lot of flexibility for everybody. So,
and I should add that actually we have kind of done one weird new thing just in the past month, and as a tech company have kind of reversed and gone backwards and just launched a paper organizer to allow family and patients to write down all of their needs in one specific place. So it's kind of the opposite of an app.
I actually love that because I am a paper person and I'm very visual. I want to see it on paper. So even when I put stuff in my calendar on my phone, I will write it in my planner because I need to see it.
Well, that's what we have for you.
That is perfect. So how did you start this?
So I started it with my family because we had a loved one who was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer when she was 25. And we were those best friends, kind of first line of defense, going between the family who was at the hospital and sharing information with the masses. And what we found as we were going back and forth was that as we were sharing information and status updates on what was happening with our friend Laura, the response was always twofold. The first was, please tell the family that I love them and I'm thinking of them. And the second was always, and let me know if there's anything I can do to help. And keeping track of the information was a little bit daunting, but more than that was when we found ways for friends to do something, they would. They felt honored and privileged and more connected to the family that they had the opportunity to do something. And then the family felt loved and supported and connected with their entire community because we provided a simple, what would be great? Can someone drop off a basket of breakfast for the family while they're in the hospital? Can someone else drive to and from an appointment? Is someone else able to just take the dog on a walk? These are the things that can really be super beneficial to the family today and not something that's going to be a burden to any friend.
That is so important too, because I feel like so many people, they either don't know what they need in the beginning, especially, or if they do, feel like they're imposing by asking and they just don't know like if it's okay to ask, or if someone offers, they want to say yes, but then they feel like they can't say yes because we have to do it all ourselves.
And thinking it through, especially as you are newly diagnosed with something or there's been a change in your diagnosis or treatment plan, it's overwhelming, right? Like you are just doing everything you can to keep one foot in front of the other. And so having to on the spot come up with, oh yeah, I could use help with these things. Or sometimes you do come up with what those ideas are, and you're like, I need somebody to take the trash out tomorrow because I can't seem to get the trash can out this week, you know?
Yeah.
It feels weird. It feels awkward. How do you start that conversation? And like, what about when you're thinking about it at 3 a.m? Well, that's not when people are calling and saying, let me know what I can do. You can't feel weird sending a text at that hour, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And then also like, are you adding a to-do list by telling them what do you need? Like now they have to sit down and make up a list. Like if you can just come in and say, "Hey, I'm gonna walk your dog this week because I know you have a dog and I'm sure it needs to be walked."
Well, and then, so as we're on the dog walking, I'm going to just throw myself under the bus for a second here.
Love it.
Please don't ever ask me to walk your dog. Like, I love your dog. I promise I do, but I cannot handle picking up the dog poop. And that is not my thing, okay? But there are a lot of other things that are my thing that I would love the opportunity to help with. And my son or my sister or tons of my friends, they're like, yeah, I would love to take the dog on the walk. But please don't ask me to go to the grocery for you, and please don't ask me to make you dinner. I was actually speaking with a woman earlier today, and she is a highly educated healthcare executive, extraordinarily compassionate, totally overwhelmed because she's trying to help a friend go through a situation right now. And she's like, I don't know, everybody just expects me to take her dinner, but I can't even get dinner on the table myself because I hate cooking. Like, that's not my thing. And I said, friend, like, you're an extraordinary financial whiz and you love the paperwork. What if you help her organize her finances? And she lit up from the inside because that's her gift. And she was like, I would love to be able to go through and say, these are the bills that need to be paid. These are the ways that you need to follow up with insurance. These are the other forms of paperwork that need to happen. You would think that I asked her. I mean, she was so excited.
It's amazing. And that is so true. Like you have to play to your strong points. What are you good at? What can you give that's going to be beneficial and not stress you out and deplete you at the same time? That's a huge part of it.
Because you're also going to show up better for your friend.
Absolutely.
So if you, as the person going through it, are able to, so people think that bringing meals is the thing that you do, right? And that's so important. We have to be nourished. And so I am not downplaying meals. That's always the number one thing. But if you can allow yourself to open up just a little bit to the other things that are overwhelming you in life, they might not overwhelm your friends. They might not overwhelm your friend who's a financial planner for whom this is super easy. Your friend for whom gardening is their passion and they would love the opportunity to make sure that your yard is mowed in the summer or something else. Like, there are a lot of things that we sometimes forget, and that when you're going through a major event in your life, you don't want everything else to have to fall by the wayside, but it usually does because you just don't have capacity.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so important. And it's so hard to ask for help and to accept it. So I love that you guys do this. I think it's so important.
Yes. Well, and the WHO has a study that shows people who have stronger social support networks have better outcomes. And where I'm going with this is that you're creating more connection when you're allowing people in and when you're allowing people to help support you. Whether you want to admit it or not, you probably feel kind of good that someone cares about you and they're doing nice things for you. And it actually feels really good. There's a little dopamine hit when you do something nice for someone else, right? So we are taking care of trying to help like round out that quality of care that you need, that is essential when you're going through any kind of life event, specifically if you're talking about, like an eye cancer diagnosis or something like that. Your life is changing in a lot of ways, right? Many things.
A lot of the times they can't even come out of the bedroom for a couple weeks because they can't be around light. So they are literally, they can't drive their kids somewhere they can't see. It's a huge, huge thing.
It's a huge, huge thing. And knowing that people love you and care about you and want to help. Again, people want to help.
They do. And one of the things that you said when we talked before that I loved was that, when you don't let your friends help, they might be maybe a little offended of like, hey, I thought we were better friends. I thought you trusted me. And I think that's such an important
Yes.
way to look at it because you're not imposing, you're letting them do what they're wanting to do for you. And if you say no, you might hurt their feelings a little bit, and if you flip it and put you on that side and you want to help someone and they say, no, 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 I got it. Yeah, it's a little hurtful of like, what? I thought you trusted me. I thought we were better friends. So I think that's a great
Yes.
look at it.
It is. I very recently had someone going through something and I was like, wow, first of all, logically, 100% understand how overwhelming it is. But as a human and as a friend, I was a little sad and hurt. Exactly what you said, right? Like,
Yeah.
please let me do something for you.
Yeah. And I think people just don't think about it from that point of view. Yeah.
Right. And so we just kind of have to normalize that a little bit, which is hard. And it's so hard when you're already in such a vulnerable spot with your life being changed so dramatically.
Absolutely. Totally agree. So when you started this, what kind of growing pains did you have getting this going? Like, what did you need help with? Like, what was it like to launch something like this?
Well, let's be clear. I had taken one coding class in 7th grade. So I was not a tech developer. So had to really learn and trust developers and the coding that was happening on the underneath side. I had to ask for guidance on the business side, like what's the real business model around this? Like, how are we going to get this in the hands of patients when they need it? And that was a huge growing pain for me. We launched as a B2C, so a business to consumer site. It's very hard, very expensive to get out there, and it wasn't super financially stable and viable for a while, and had to talk to a lot of experts and kind of change the business model around such that we sell this software to healthcare professionals and other providers who want an extension of their brand because they understand how important it is to have those extra services available to their patients. But that was a really big learning curve for me and had to ask a lot of people for help with all of that. I ended up being the first woman in my state to raise venture capital over $500,000, and I had no idea how to do that. So I had to learn a lot well, thank you. But I had to learn a lot along the way about how that works.
I can't even imagine, because you have this great idea, but you know, it's just like we were talking about before, you can't be good at everything. So trying to learn how to be a business person and how to be a finance person when really your passion is this idea, like, yeah, that's overwhelming.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I decided to launch a podcast and had no idea how to do that. Everyone's like, oh, it's so easy. You just get the stuff and go. And I was like, so Megan, you and I know that is not really how easy it is to just launch. You just record stuff and you put it out there.
Just talk, it'll be fine.
Just talk, it'll be fine, right? So I had to start asking people questions, start leaning on people who were already experts in the field. And I think that the lessons that I have learned in building my business are actually lessons that I like to try to remind people about as they're going through whatever their healthcare or major life event is. And actually, I'm going to totally just give a plug for my team and the expert knowledge that we have, because we've watched people go through such similar situations, right? So you can learn from someone who has already had the same diagnosis that you have had. And okay, these are the tips. These are the little nuances of things that are going to be slightly different because you have been diagnosed with cancer in your eye instead of breast cancer, right? So it's not all going to be the same. So I think that being able to, kind of say, all right, I got to look at the people who've already done a podcast. It's not going to be the same as the people who have launched something else. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely, you have to take from all the experts out there and try to mash it into something that fits what you're doing. And that's with anything that you're doing in life, any hardship, anything you're going through. Take what you can take and then mash it together and figure out how to make it work for you. Because even though we're all going through different things, we're also all very different people.
We are. And now I'm going to completely backtrack and say, and yet we all are humans with some basic needs that are similar. And the What Friends Do team has had the opportunity to help so many people. There are some really basic things that we're like, let's just start with this. Okay. Let's start simple. Let's start with the basics of communication, looking at providing food, looking at providing transportation, and asking who else is in your household who needs support, and or is there a caregiver who needs support. And then once we have those basics kind of down, now we can get into the nuances of your specific situation and looking at other people who've gone through the same thing.
So along that line, who signs up for this? Is it up to the patient to sign themselves up? Can a friend, can a family member, like who starts this?
So anyone can start this. And we have seen everyone that you just mentioned start this. I will say the most successful support teams are usually started by a sister or a best friend or a next door neighbor or someone who is very intimately aware of what's going on, and someone who is able to look at you, Megan, and say, girlfriend, you need some help. I know you don't think you do right now, but let me just tell you what I see. And it's way easier for me as the best friend, the sister, the next door neighbor, someone like that close to you to be able to say, okay, here's what Megan needs. Like this is where people can really help right now. Because of what we started talking about at the beginning. It's so hard. It's so awkward. If I ask for help, what if no one wants to do it? Is this a weird thing to ask for? But if I am the one who's like, okay, Megan needs this, we all need to step in, who's going to do it, it just makes it a lot easier.
Oh, without a doubt. Absolutely. I think that's huge.
All of that said, our software is actually set up in such a way that we really encourage the patient to be actively involved in it. And if they have the capacity at the time, because one of the other things that's really important in long term and short term is to be able to document what's going on. Mm-hmm. And while you might think you are never ever going to forget this, you never ever want to have to relive this, or these are details that aren't necessarily needed to be remembered. Time does things to people, right? You don't always remember. You don't think you're going to want to remember, but then at some point you might. And so you don't have to go back. But should the opportunity present itself down the road that you want to go back and say, wait, how did this happen? Which day did this happen? What was the really sequence of events in whatever was going on? So for that reason, it's sometimes nice for the patient to be involved in the sharing of their story. The other reason that's also nice for this patient to have the opportunity to share their story is they get to control their story. And they get to have the opportunity to say, this is what I want shared. This is what I feel comfortable sharing. And when you can put it up in one spot, we're not playing telephone, right? Remember when we all used to sit in a circle and play telephone, and it just doesn't work. So having that opportunity to own your own story, I think is very healing as well. And owning who has the rights and privilege to receive your story, right? So the way our software works, you don't have to have it on Facebook for everybody to see and share all the places, or whatever social media platform of your choice. You can still do that, and I'm not saying you shouldn't. I think there's a lot of benefit to that as well. But I think there's a lot to be said especially when situations can often feel out of control, having the gift of controlling your message.
Yeah, I agree. And having that sense of privacy too, of like, I want to share with these people, but maybe not everybody on Facebook, or yeah, this I want to share with everybody. You could kind of control which parts you want to put where.
You can. And again, it's sometimes nice to not have to go back through the entire Facebook feed to see what, where is it? I know there was something in here. Like, it's all just in one spot, which is sometimes helpful as well. Again, there are things in my life that I never ever thought I wanted to have to revisit, and that I never ever thought I would forget details of. And after time, I don't remember the details of that. How did that work? I don't, where was I for this? Who was there? How's this going down? And I do kind of like want to know.
I think also like when you're in the situation, you just do what you have to do to survive. And then when you get out of it on the other side, you look back and you say, how did I live through that? Like that was so big. How did I do that? And you should be proud of it and be able to revisit that and say, hey, I did this.
Well, that is exactly where I wanted to take the rest of this part of it, is that there's also celebration in there. There's also the opportunity for like, wow, look at the great days that I had. Look at the great things that happened during whatever, however things were happening. And having that documented is really special.
And look at all the people that showed up for me and look at how strong I was. And at the time, it didn't feel like it. But looking back, I did so much. And all these people were there. Yeah, a huge celebration.
All those people were there for me. Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so my next question is, so we've told everyone what it is, how it works. So now somebody wants to sign up. What do they do to start?
So they go to whatfriendsdo.com and they click Start a Team. And it guides you through with some I like to use easy questions in air quotes because in a non-stressful time, they're super easy questions. But we know that sometimes when you're overwhelmed, it can be a little more overwhelming. But we're asking for your name. We're asking for email address. Email address is important because that's your login for everything. We're asking you to find a photo to put on so that if your friends are searching for it, this is how software and apps work, right? And then where it gets hard is what kind of help do you need? And that's where people get tripped up a lot. So I don't want them to feel overwhelmed by having to get it right the first time, right? Just toss in a few meals, put in a couple of important upcoming events, right? This is the next doctor's appointment. This is when we're going to find out more information. The reason I love to put doctor's appointments on there, dates, time, not like specifics, but to say, okay, the next doctor's appointment is next Wednesday afternoon. We have no new information until then. Thank you for asking, but please don't.
Yeah, I can see where that would be very beneficial.
Yeah. Sure. So, and then if you get in there and you get tripped up, I have a whole team of people who their job is to help support you through this. Everyone loves our work because we really are passionate about helping you and helping you through these situations. And we've done it before. So we're happy to guide you.
And because you can draw on that experience, I'm sure you can give some great examples that might get people's brains started thinking, oh yeah, that would be a good idea. And then that made me think of this. And I'm sure that feedback is probably very beneficial.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. Well, and we've got the questions and the prompts to ask you. And like I said, our new paper planner lets you kind of like look through all of those prompts on your own also, and lets you kind of take that with you as you are going to go sit next to your friend and say, okay, let's figure out your care plan.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you call it a team, that I feel like from the very minute you go onto the software and you get started, it's that mentality of we got this. We are a team. And I think that's the perfect word. Yeah, I love that. Okay. So now they've gone on, they've started their team. Then how do they share it and get people involved?
So there are a couple of options. There's a share button that lets you copy the link so that you can send it in an email to a whole bunch of people. It lets you post it to social media if you want to. It lets you just type in people's email addresses and they will receive an email from our system. I really think the easiest way is to copy the link and text it out to a whole bunch of people, and then they will join. They have to create their own username to log in to do this. And that's for privacy reasons that we've found our users really prefer the opportunity to kind of know who's on there. There are privacy settings so that, you can have it so that the person who set the team up has to approve who is on the team and who isn't on the team. Or you can have it open so that anyone who puts their email address in can come and be part of your support team there.
That's really smart.
And so one other thing that, if it is someone from your faith organization, someone from your workplace, someone who may not know every social circle that you're a part of, what we really like to encourage is to say like, hey, Megan, who are your top 3 people? right? And can they help us get the word out to all of the people? And ask people to help and ask people to spread the word. Hey, can you make sure all the neighbors know? Hey, can you make sure all of the family is included, right? Because you might not have access if this isn't you personally going through it, you might not have access to all of those emails. I'd like to kind of bring up one other point right now that I should have mentioned earlier about who sets this up. And I love it when the patient sets it up on their own. And one of the reasons that patients don't set it up on their own, and I like to challenge them, except not really because they're going through enough, is that they are like, I don't think I have anybody who wants to help me. And I usually like to start asking some questions. Like, okay, maybe you don't, but what do you do on the weekends? Are you part of any groups? Are you a part of any faith organizations? What about the people who you work with? What about your family? What about your extended family? And those are the other things that I think are really important for patients. And I'm using the word patients very generically, so I hope that people are not offended by that. But people do usually love and care about others, and they're usually much stronger social support circles and networks than people are often really willing to necessarily admit at first. So when you're the person going through it and you're like, oh, no one would ever sign up for me, I doubt that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And so many people, like we said, want to help that, you might think, well, they barely know me, but you would be so surprised how much they do want to do. And, it could grow into a friendship. Like, don't close doors until you give it a shot.
And you have no idea what other people have gone through either, right?
True.
Maybe they have gone through something similar, or maybe their best friend or their relative has gone through something similar also, and you have the opportunity to learn from that.
Yeah, or even just bond over it.
Just bond over it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that there's just such opportunity for connection in these times.
Yeah, I totally agree. So give us a little bit of feedback you've gotten, either some reviews or stories that you love. Who is this helping? Give us some insight into these people.
Well, as I was thinking through about this specific podcast, we had the opportunity many years ago, and I've received clearance from the family to share information about this because their young daughter actually had eye cancer. And they had 2 boys at home still. They were traveling 2+ hours to a different city to receive treatment. And when they used the site, the school was able to jump in and do so much to support the kids. And they had an organizational space to do it. And everyone was updated and they were able to say, okay, Neve's coming home today. We're going to make sure that her brothers feel so incredibly supported because she's been gone for so long. They could do special things to support the whole family through it, which I think is one of the really unique opportunities. And I don't want to be all happy glossy through all of this, but I think that there are just a lot of other ways that people can be supported, and remembering that it's not just the person who is going through the situation who's affected. And so being able to see specifically with this one family how much support they received for the other 2 boys while they were caring for their daughter who was going through treatment.
That's huge. And those are the kind of stories that you just hear and it just restores your faith in humanity that, we are all in this together and we do have each other.
We do. And again, I started this off when you give people the chance to do something, they will.
Yes.
And they'll feel honored that you let them in to do it.
100%. And they might surprise you. They might do a little extra than what you asked for that you didn't even realize you needed, but you did.
Well, I think that's one of the biggest things that, I learn every week. And I've been doing this for 10 years, but every week I see something new that people do for each other that I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. I had no idea. We have one idea that came from a woman, and I share this one all the time, from Mary. And she is a daily check-in person. And now it's an actual function on our website because I love it so much. She's like, oh yeah, I like to be the person that's like, okay, I'm taking every Tuesday and I'm your person for the day. So I'm going to text you at 7 a.m. and say, do you need me to come over and start your coffee? And then I'm going to text you in the middle of the morning to make sure you have your lunch covered. Do you need me to run any errands for you? Like, I'm your person this day. So you just tell me, because I got the day blocked off to run errands for you, to come over and help, to do all of the things. And I was like, well, that's a fabulous idea, you know? And then it's not a burden to anyone else because, like, for me, I'd be like, oh, no, I blocked my Tuesday off because I'm helping Megan today. Yeah, so you text me all day. You tell me what you need, girlfriend. I'm here.
And then you don't feel like you're taking advantage because you know that they're there for you that day. And then no one's getting burnt out of like, well, they asked me to do stuff all week long and I have my own family, because you've set that boundary of Tuesday's my day. And
can I share a quick personal story with this? So your listeners have a general idea of what my business is at this point. And a few years ago, it was a Friday night. My husband at the time was working late and out of state, and I needed to go to the store and get some food for my kids because we didn't have anything for dinner. And they were just barely old enough that I left them home by themselves. And I got to the store and I was walking into the grocery and a woman didn't see me and I was hit by a car. Very low speed, low impact, but I still ended up with a broken wrist and a broken foot.
Wow.
And I ended up with surgery a couple of days later. Again, I couldn't drive. I couldn't walk. I couldn't even get myself in and out of the shower alone. I couldn't get my coffee cup by myself because, like it was either on crutches or wheeling myself places, and one hand was broken, and like I couldn't do anything. And my mom and sister and best friend had to come and sit me down. Well, I was already sitting down, but they had to come and sit down with me. And they said, you are putting so much burden on us. It's not fair to us to be the only ones. But also, can we look at your business? Like, let's do this. But it was so hard for me to admit that I was going to need that help. But it also took me a few minutes to recognize the burden that I was placing unintentionally on my mom and my sister and my best friend for having to do everything else. And they love me and they care for me and they still will. But there are so many other people who could help alleviate that. And then they had capacity to help with things that I wasn't comfortable with other people helping with.
I think that's a huge important thing to note too, is you can delegate those little things like, oh, can you do this little thing, so that those important private things like getting you in and out of the shower can be saved for the people who you are that close to without putting everything on them.
And what I learned was, and again, this is maybe a little TMI, but one of my best friends was like, don't make me cook for you, but I'll come change all your bandages and I'll get you in and out of the shower. She has a special needs daughter. She's been my best friend forever. She's like, I don't care about naked bodies. Let me just lift you out of the shower. I can, she's like, but please let me do that so that I don't have to make you dinner.
Yeah, that's just like what we talked about before. You got to do what you're comfortable doing, what you're good at doing, not what you hate doing. Don't sign up for something you hate because you feel like you have to.
And then she didn't have to spend all of her time driving my kids places or helping me get groceries or do all of the other little things that still needed to happen. Like you just said, those could be delegated out to other people who want to help but don't have the space, the closest space to us to do those other things.
Absolutely. Yeah. So is there anything else that you want to add? Like anything that we haven't gone over yet?
Well, I kind of want to shamelessly plug my podcast right now, only because the very first episode, I really dig into who's allowed to know about what's going on and talking about kind of those levels of friends and who gets to know what and how close they get to come into you as things are going, as you're going through things. So my podcast is called Kitchen Chats with Aimee Kendrick. And the reason it's called Kitchen Chats is because when something major has happened in my life or my close friends' lives, we gather in the kitchen and we sit down and we figure out what's next. And so that's what we're doing on my podcast. And so I would love the opportunity for listeners to learn something, take something away for either how they can receive help or how they can help someone else in the future.
Definitely. And we'll link that in the show notes because I think that is definitely something that all of our listeners should check out.
Thanks. And my team is available if people are like, well, our situation needs a little bit of help. Hey, that's our favorite. We'd love to.
That's great. Oh, I love that so much. Let's pause here real quick. So, Jamie, when you watch this cut here, did you do like a coupon code for the planner or anything like that, or like any kind of, or do you want to? We can skip it, or we can plug that too if you want to kind of drive them
How do I?
to the website.
I don't know how to do a coupon code. I just have a.
I don't either.
I really want to. I
Okay.
can give them a link to the planner.
Okay.
It's not a coupon code, though. I'd love to give them a 10% discount. I just don't know how to do it.
Let's record that with a tentative, Jamie, don't put it in unless we tell you we figured out the coupon code. And then if we don't figure it out, we'll record a separate ending. We'll just kind of do like 2. Or we'll just do a little coupon code and then we'll cut again and then we'll keep going. Okay. All right. So Jamie, we're starting again. Okay. Ready? Okay, Aimee. So tell me about your planner, the paper planner. You have a coupon code for our listeners?
We do. So our planner is available for purchase on Amazon, and you can find it via a link that will be available in this podcast. And we will use a code for 10% off, and it is 10 for all of your listeners to receive a 10% off of their planner purchase.
Oh, Aimee, thank you so much. That is such a wonderful thing to gift our community. And I know that so many people will take advantage of that, including me. Paper, I need paper, so I love it.
I am embarrassed to admit how many planners and notebooks are on my, I don't think I could count quickly enough, on my desk right now.
Yeah, that's me too. Paper and pens everywhere.
Yes.
Okay, Jamie, cut here. And if we add the coupon code, add that. If not, we'll pick back up here. Is there anything else that you want to go over, or should we wrap up?
Or we can just say that the planner is available on Amazon.
Let's do that, and then we'll wrap up. Yeah, definitely. Perfect.
And then we'll wrap up. Is that okay?
Yep, that's good. All right, so Jamie, this is option 2 if there's no coupon code. Okay, all right. So Aimee, tell me about your paper planner that you have.
Oh, thank you. Our paper planner is walking people through essentially all of the things plus more than what we've discussed here, and it is available for purchase on Amazon. It is What Friends Do, all one word, planner. And I love the opportunity for people to have paper and pencil and pen and colored markers to go through and organize the things in life beyond what's provided by the medical system.
Absolutely. I think that will be so beneficial to so many people in our community. So I encourage you all to go find this planner too. I'm going to get one too because paper and pen, that's what I need.
I have so many.
Yes. Notebooks and papers everywhere. Yeah.
So many.
It's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. Well, Aimee, thank you so much for being here with us today. I really appreciate your time. I know it's valuable, and I love everything that you said, everything you've shared with us, and I just really appreciate you for being here.
Megan, thanks for all the work that you're doing and for allowing me to come in and share this information with your community. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And hopefully we'll have you on again soon with more to share, because this is a fascinating topic and I really love this for our community. I feel like so many people are just going to be so excited to find this tool. So definitely, I'm sure won't be the last we see you.
It's a pleasure. I can't wait.
Absolutely. And to everyone who's watching, thank you so much for tuning in. We can't do this without you. So please like and subscribe. Whether you're listening on an audio platform or watching on YouTube, anything that you can do to help us would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe, like, share. Please do as much as you can, because that helps us continue to bring this to you. Go to our website, sign up for our newsletter, find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the things, and we will see you next time. Bye.